My name's Blackie. I'm a black belt in Judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I fight professionally. I'm trained by Dan Higgins and Steve Compton. I still learn from them as much as I can today. I'm also a coach at Base Training Centre and Bros Martial Arts, as well as running FIGHTIQ online. I've been training for a very long time, as long as I can remember. Martial arts is a way of life for me, and it's a lifelong pursuit that started from a very early age and will continue, till the day I die. It's certainly something that I've always had there, always through good times, bad times, and always has kept me honest. And I think that the rewards that it offers, what it does for you in terms of instilling some good values and keeping you honest and keeping you healthy, fit, giving you social opportunities, all those kind of things are just invaluable for anyone. I was a health and education teacher, and that more so reinforced the fact that sport has so much that it can do for you. And certainly I think martial arts as a tool for developing that is as good as it gets. I'm compelled to share my knowledge and experiences with as many people as I can and help them become complete combat athletes. So a little bit about me. My father grew up in New Zealand, where he trained in boxing, karate and judo, competing in the 70s and 80s. Because of this, I grew up around martial arts. It was something that was normal to me, and the values really resonated strongly with my own. Daily training was something that was just part of everyday life. Part of my own personality, being very competitive and having a passion for health, meant that from a very young age I really enjoyed training and wanted to become all that I could be. And what that means for me now is still what it meant as a kid, and that's that I want to become a world champion in combat sports. I'm in a very fortunate position now with martial arts and my lifestyle, but like anyone, I struggled early on to really balance work, family commitments, relationships, and all those normal struggles. And it is something that I think we have to learn to deal with and deal with appropriately, because if we don't, we are human beings, and there is a real price to pay for that. I certainly did a poor job of managing all these things when I was younger, and found myself reach a tipping point when I hurt my knees and had to get bilateral surgery. It again compounded on with a lot of other things that I'd neglected in my life, and that flood of everything coming at once really set me back a lot. It was the first time in my life where I wasn't able to train, and I was in the position where a lot of surgeons and that believed that I wouldn't be able to compete again or even get to this kind of physical activity at all. And like I said, I wasn't set up for that at all. I hadn't put any attention to anything else, just my training, and that was a mistake. So I found myself in a situation I'd never thought that I'd be in, where I ended up actually working as a school teacher. So my coach, Dan Higgins, when I started training with him as a kid, I was a high school dropout, and he'd said to me, look, you have to get a trade or an education in case something happens. This isn't a safe career path by any means, pursuing professional fighting. And I was very fortunate that he did, because there's probably no one else who I would have listened to. So when all this came to a peak, I had finished my degree, and I found it actually surprisingly easily got the opportunity to start teaching full time. So again, it was a job that I'd never dreamed of actually doing, never intended to do. And it was a very surreal thing, being in the classroom, being there with kids and that. And it was very rewarding. I love teaching, and seeing kids and that benefit from that is, selfishly, it's very rewarding. But it's not my dream, and it's not, what my sights were set on, and it's not what I wanted to do. So I certainly got to a point with my own training and recovery where, through hard work and support, which, I never could have done without the people around me who always did, push me to keep going, and despite behaviour that I'm not proud of, in my own personal life, kept supporting me. And finally I did find that I was at the point where I was doing far more than surgeons had told me I'd ever be able to do. And I believed I could handle a training camp and get back to fighting. So now I guess I've been getting up at 5 a.m, I train in the morning, work all day at school, do my marking, whatever, tidy that up, go to the gym again at night, and get home very late. So I was managing it, but it was very difficult. And, if I'm going to make the choice to become a world champion, which was my dream, then I knew I couldn't keep this job. So it was difficult, because I had found it was 3 years that I couldn't fight for, couldn't train properly for. And I did have this other option there. So I did have two paths. One was a job that was rewarding, not what I wanted to do, but it was full-time, stable, that gave me plenty of money, all those kind of things. But then on the other hand, the other path was pursuing my dream. You know, take that leap of faith and, you know, give up that job to pursue it. So I did take that leap of faith, and I'm very proud of myself for doing that. And, you know, that definitely is one of those lessons that, you know, you can tell someone that you got to follow your bliss and do what you find passionate and all those kind of things, that's the only way. But until you do it yourself, I don't know if you really can understand that is, you know, the right choice to make. I think it's a gift to have something you're passionate about and something you know that you want to do. A lot of people, you know, like I said, teaching students and that, a lot of them don't know, and that's a real struggle. I don't know what the answer for them is apart from go and find it. But I did know, and I made that jump. And it was very hard for the first year. I actually registered as an Uber driver. I'd spend my weekends out Uber driving, young, single male, you know, that's crazy, that's not pleasant. And, but it's what I had to do. And I got there, started fighting, had a lot of success. I've won my first Australian title. We're looking at signing with, you know, I want to sign with the UFC. We've had some offers for some very big promotions, but it's the UFC that I want. I'm now lucky enough to get to coach at a few of my friends' gyms, have my own clients, make a good living, doing what I love. So, you know, that's where I'm at with my journey, and now we're sort of really opening up and trying to provide our own experiences and knowledge as martial artists to as many people as we can, and hopefully help them out in their own journey.